What is a subtle sign that someone is really intelligent? I found out in 6th grade when kids used to argue about who was the smartest in our class. Most kids would show off by reading chapter books during lunch or solving math problems super fast on the board. They'd raise their hands first for every question and act like they knew everything about everything. But honestly, half the time they were just repeating stuff they memorized from textbooks. Then there was this girl, Kayla. She sat in the back corner, never really said much, always doodled these weird patterns on her notebook margins. People thought she was just quiet, or maybe not that bright because she didn't participate in the whole "look how smart I am" competition that everyone else was obsessed with. One day, our science teacher, Mr. Gold, asked this random question out of nowhere. Could gravity ever be blocked by a material? Like, is there anything that could stop gravity from working? The whole class went dead silent. All those kids who usually had their hands shooting up just sat there staring. Nobody had an answer. These were the same kids who could recite the periodic table or tell you every president in order, but this stumped them completely. Then Kayla raised her hand, just barely, like she wasn't even sure she should. "It can't be blocked," she said. "Gravity acts through everything, even a garbage can." Some kids started laughing because she mentioned a garbage can, like that was stupid or something. But Mr. Gold got this interested look on his face. "That's interesting. Can you prove it?" So Kayla asked if she could borrow a tennis ball, a shoebox lid from the recycling bin, and the classroom trash can. She put the shoebox lid on top of the trash can, balanced the tennis ball on the lid, then lifted the lid up and let the ball drop right through the can to the floor. "See?" she said, picking up the ball. "Even when it's inside the can, gravity still pulls it down to the floor. The can doesn't block anything." More kids laughed because they thought it was some dumb demonstration. But Mr. Gold didn't laugh at all. He gave Kayla extra credit for demonstrating what he called a fundamental concept of physics using real-world logic. He said most people just memorize that gravity works through everything, but she actually understood what that meant. The next week was our school's science fair. While everyone else was making volcanoes or solar system models with styrofoam balls, Kayla built this project about how gravity affects water flow in underground pipes. It wasn't flashy or colorful like the other projects. It was just a clear plastic tube system that showed how water moves downhill through pipes even when you can't see it happening. She won first place, not because her project looked the coolest, but because the judges said it showed she understood how invisible forces work in real life. She could take something complicated and explain it using stuff you see every day. After that, I started noticing other things about Kayla. When we'd get stuck on math problems, she wouldn't just give us the answer. She'd ask questions that made us figure it out ourselves. Like if we couldn't solve for x, she'd say, "What if x was 5? Does that work? What if it was 10? Until we realized the pattern. During group projects, she never took charge or bossed people around. But somehow our group always ended up with the best ideas because she'd ask these simple questions that made everyone think differently. What if we tried it backwards? Or what would happen if we changed this one thing? The really smart kids would memorize facts and repeat them back. But Kayla would take those same facts and connect them to things nobody else thought of. She didn't just know that plants need sunlight. She figured out why the classroom plants by the window grew differently than the ones on the teacher's desk, and she could explain it in a way that made perfect sense. By the end of 6th grade, I realized that real intelligence isn't about knowing the most stuff or being the fastest at math. It's about seeing patterns that other people miss and being able to prove your ideas using things from everyday life.